Call the meeting to order. Roll call, Mr. Karati.
Mr. Accomando? Mrs. Borelli?
Present.
Mr. Buffi?
Present.
Mr. Quinn?
Present.
Ms. Sanchez?
Present.
Ms. Scanapenko?
Present.
Mrs. Zondarelli? Mr. Geary?
Present. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been sent to all members of the Board of Education and to the Bergen Record in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, 1975.
Okay, thank you. So as everybody knows, we completed our first round of park testing a couple of weeks ago, and following that testing, our testing coordinator, which is also our supervisor of guidance, Susan Madison, sent a survey out to our elementary staff, and Dave Gelber sent a survey out to our middle school and high school staff. And I'm not going to go through it in great detail, but by and large, the feedback that we received back from the teachers was generally pretty positive. One of the things that changed the most because of the testing was actually our daily schedules. Testing wasn't done, as most people know, the same way as the NJ ask, in terms of there's not specific testing dates for grades, and a grade test for the 4 days, and then they move on. It was really students in and out for almost the entire month of all the sessions that they needed to take at a variety of grade levels. So while it was an extremely lengthy process to put that schedule together, everybody adjusted pretty well to the schedule, and it really did run pretty smoothly. So we were happy with that. One of the things that teachers asked for is more training on how they can assist students when tests need to be resumed or reopened, which is really the only thing that a test proctor can do. And so we did trainings in each of the buildings, but it differed in the amount that they received. So that's something that we're going to follow up on going into next year. However, teachers, just to make the point though, teachers were not left on their own to have to do these things when there were glitches. We had technology staff in each of the buildings throughout each of the sessions. So there were people trained, but instead of teachers doing it on their own, they would call that person in their building to come to their room and assist them, or much of it could also be done remotely. And so that did happen too. One of the other things that had the most displeasure associated with it, and I think everybody really agrees with that, is the amount of instructional time that was lost. And that was probably the greatest, most common piece of feedback that we received from the teachers, was the amount of instructional time that it took away to not only administer the test, but again, because of the schedule changes, it really was a disruption to the day for a lot of students and a lot of teachers for a long period of time, and it will be when we go into the end-of-year assessment as well. I think we did a pretty good job of scheduling and administering the test. I know a lot of other school districts had delayed openings on days when they had testing for certain grades, and we didn't have to do that at all. We were able to work it out, share devices, change our schedules in a way that facilitated full days for all of our students. So when you compare it to what happened in a lot of other places, we actually did pretty well with ours. So that was great. Just something else that was announced a few weeks ago by the New Jersey Council of County Colleges, and I only bring this up because there's a lot of conversation about what the park counts for and what it does not count for. And one of the newest things that was announced by the Council of County Colleges, the 19 presidents of the county colleges in New Jersey, that starting in 2016, they will be looking at park as one of the 4 tests that they use to determine student placements. So it is really important that we tell our students that it's not something that shouldn't be taken seriously. And I think, like anyone else, like most other districts, we had students who wrote song lyrics or just kind of answered letters down a column because there's a lot of information out there about it not counting and not mattering. But the fact is that At this point, it does. It matters for teachers' evaluations. It counts as 10% of teachers' evaluations for language arts and math teachers in grades 4 through 8. So that's obviously important. County colleges in 2016 are looking to use it for placing students who go to county college, and we do have a number of students outside of the Saddlebrook High School who attend Bergen Community, and so that has a direct impact on them. And it's also right now one of the options for a graduation requirement. So it's important that we send a message that our students do take this test seriously, unless something changes, and maybe it will, because obviously there's a lot of talk, a lot of conversation, and even legislation that may change that. But in the meantime, it's something for us to take seriously, and you know, I think that is happening with our staff and in our classrooms, but it's important that our community sees that the same way as well. I just want to highlight our Saddlebrook Education Foundation. They have, over the last several years, donated quite a bit of money to the school district, and what they did in the past was they used to function in a traditional way for foundations, in that they funded teacher grants, individual teacher grants, or, well, it could be really anyone. It could be administrators as well. And they moved away from that over a couple of years, and what they did was they donated a lump sum of money to the district to be used really in some way that matched the district goals. And over the last 2 years, that money was used to complete the wireless projects in our schools. So it really went to something that we very much needed, but through conversations with the foundation, there's a decision to go back to funding the teacher grants, which is something that I think, and obviously the members of the foundation do as well, think is important, because we have a lot of teachers who have some wonderful ideas and some great initiatives that they would like to start, and it's not always things, it's often items that can't be funded through our regular school budget. So having these grant opportunities for teachers is really a great way for them to be able to enhance their classroom, and a great way for the foundation to be supporting what's happening. So the grant applications have been distributed to all of our teachers. We'll be doing 2 cycles a year, or the foundation will be having 2 cycles a year, one in the spring and one in the fall. The deadline now is May 30th, and they hope to come to the June Board of Ed meeting and present the grants for this fall, for the spring, that would be funded in the fall and ready to go in September. Just to follow up on a report that I gave last month about the county fields and being charged by the Parks Department, they have agreed to waive the fees for this current year, and it's really, at this point, still open-ended as to what will happen in future years. They alluded to the fact that if there were special circumstances for any school district, that we could appeal to them and write them a letter explaining those circumstances, and we've done that. So hopefully in future years they'll consider some of the information that we share with them and agree to waive those fees in future years. But for this year, everything has been waived, and we'll keep a note on the progress as we move forward. So one of the things that we've talked about, that really when we started last year, and this relates to our new vision and everything we kept talking about, the new Saddlebrook and raising the standards. And you know, one of the things that came up all of last year through all of that research was that people in the community felt that students who graduated were not well prepared for whatever steps they were taking next. So one of the things that Mr. Lawler and I have been talking about, and this came up last year as well in the conversations, but now we're looking to move forward and get something together, is to conduct a post-graduation survey. So in other words, we'll be reaching out to students who graduated within the last maybe 1 to 3 years, and have them complete a survey about their experiences and how well they believed that the high school prepared them for whatever it is that they did next, and we'll also find out what it is that they are doing next. And that's really information that we can use to drive our goals and to see if we're on the right track, because you know, to this point, all of our information is based on current student data, based on current parents' input, based on our staff's input, and all of those things are important. But what we don't know is what happens to these students when they're 2 years removed from the high school. How are they doing, and how well did we prepare them, and were we on target? So right now we're in the process of collecting surveys that are out there that other school districts have distributed. And then from there, we'll obviously create some of our own questions, but there's no reason to reinvent an effective survey that's already out there. So that's the stage that we're at. We don't have a target at this point as far as the date of when we want to distribute that survey, but we'd like to get it together rather quickly, and I think it's something we can do. So, I think excited is the right word to use about what the results would be because it's an entire constituency that we really have not tapped into at all. Again, looking forward at next year, all of our positions for 2015-16 or our anticipated positions have been posted. They were advertised this week, and so we're starting our search processes, and we'll keep you informed as we start to go through those processes and have recommended candidates for those positions. Are there any questions on any of those items?
The post-graduation surveys, how would they be distributed? Would that be done online?
They could be done online. Although we're not going to have email addresses for everybody, so we'll probably, the most current information that we'll have will be home addresses, mailing addresses. So what we could do is we can mail them a letter with a link in that letter to the survey. That would be the most likely, because we do want to give it online, because obviously adding up paper surveys compared to all these services that are out there that do that, Google does it for free. So we would want it to be that way, but we wouldn't be able to contact people electronically because I don't think we'd have that contact information. Okay. Thanks. All right. The last item is really just to open a discussion for the board on the sample pension reform resolution that came from School Boards Association, because it's really a decision for you to make if you want to adopt that resolution and send your thoughts accordingly to your legislators and to Trenton about the new cash balance plan. So I don't know if I can just, have you take that and lead that from there to see what people's thoughts are on the board discussion there.
Well, from a personal standpoint, for us to take on that responsibility of paying for retirees' health benefits would be huge for us, something that we couldn't afford. The state right now is picking up 100% of it, which comes out right now for the state to $1.1 billion per year. It's a big burden for them, be a huge burden for us. We really couldn't afford it. It would cost us a tremendous amount of money. We would have to make substantial cuts that we can't afford. So I'm all in favor of the resolution. Does anyone else have any comments?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's the way the state is really trying to renege on the responsibilities they've already guaranteed and set in place. And I don't think it should fall on the residents of this town to have to pick up what the state has not held to their commitments.
Well, we can put it on Wednesday's agenda if you would like to be there.
Any other further comments? Okay. So we're going to have that on the agenda for Wednesday. Okay.
Are there any questions on any items in student services?
I have a question with number 5 for the chair. Why is this approval submitted so early? Didn't they just...
They actually sent it while they were away this year at that event, just to be organized and on top of things. So they put in the proposal, we have the dates, and put it on the agenda.
Oh, okay.
So really no other reason than their sport being very organized. Okay. Section C, Business and Board. If there's any questions on items 1 or 2, which are our workshops and field trips. The only thing I'd like to point out is the Google Education Trainers. That's something that's part of our technology team has made a decision. And we've talked a lot about our move towards using Google Apps for education. And so we have one person in each building who will become a certified Google trainer. So that's something that we already have in a couple buildings, but looking forward to having someone in each building is really that go-to person In addition to Sonia Otero on a district level, it gives us a person in each building, at least one person in each building, to be able to support the remaining teachers in effectively using all of the Google apps and Google Drive in their instruction. Also, the training, the AP training you see is something that obviously there's a high cost associated with that, but that's one of our major goals, is to increase the number of AP courses that we offer, as well as the number of students who are enrolled in those courses. So these are training additional teachers, and AP Environmental is a new course that we'll have next year. And number 3 obviously acknowledges the resignation of Billy Havison. The board will have try to get Billy here another night so we can thank and recognize him. But we wanted to at least put that on the agenda. Item 4 is a discussion that we had in closed session previously, but our technology coordinator resigned recently, and when we started the search, we started to look at some other options as well, in addition to just replacing the position as is. We've been functioning for a long time with a technology coordinator and then a part-time technician, and that's our entire technology staff, is 1.5 people. And on its own, that's really not enough to service and serve all the technology needs in the district. But our technology use and our inventory continue to grow, and our department has not. And so last year, during our budget process last year, we tried to look at a way to be able to add a technician and just weren't able to do that. We wanted to do it again this year, and we weren't able to. But when we looked into this contracted service, it became an option. And as it worked out, our technology coordinator who resigned is now the director of shared services for Passaic County ESC. So that's kind of a little bit of how we were led towards them, because you can contract. There's a few different options with who we could contract with. For us, the continuity made a lot of sense. So with this contract, under this agreement, what we will have is 2 full-time technicians, whereas right now we have 1 part-time technician. We'll have 2 full-time technicians who will be in our district every day, all the time. They'll report here. They're employed by Passaic County ESC, but they report here every day, as any other employees would, and they're responsible for the daily maintenance, the administration, troubleshooting, and so on. Our help desk items, all of the maintenance and service of our technology department. We would also still have the coordinator position, which would be the director at the Passaic County ESC. But then what we also have is all the resources that they offer behind them. So if we have an emergency situation where we needed an extra person, we'd have that available. If some of our new equipment in the summer arrives late, which sometimes that happens from vendors, and we need more people to help set that up, we'll have that available. So it opens up more resources than we had. It opens up more daily staffing than we had, and it really meets a lot of the goals that we've been looking to achieve from a tech standpoint. The other bonus to that is that it's $23,000 less than we have been spending for our current arrangement. So there's a savings and there's an increase in services and staffing. And so we think that is kind of a no-brainer, because it accomplishes our goals and it realizes a savings in our budget. Mr. Crowdy, do you want to talk about?
I'll talk about the bids. Just one item on number 4. It's currently in attorney review of the contract. There's just one item that we're just trying to work out. Hopefully it gets worked out by Wednesday. If not, it might just say pending attorney review agreements.
Thanks.
5, the bids. This was the bids under the referendum project that were for the bathrooms at all the schools except Long School. And the bid was a combined bid. Written in the documents, it was separate, high school and elementary schools, but there was one issue. We had 11 bids, 19 contractors took out bids, we got 11 back, and only one of them only submitted for 1, which was allowable. But there was some confusion, and the second bidder protested, the attorney reviewed, and it wasn't specifically written in the documents that it should be, that you could bid for either one, or both. So, an attorney, the architect has done this before, and it's worked, but this one did not. So we had to reject the bids, go out to bid. It was advertised this past Saturday. No, actually, it was advertising
Before break.
Before the break. And the bids will be opened up tomorrow afternoon, 2 separate bids in the afternoon for the high school and 1 for elementary schools. And hopefully, after attorney review, we could have the recommendations on 6 and 7 to award the bids for the bathrooms. Any questions on that, the process?
There was only 2 bidders for all of that work.
No, there was 11. Just out of the 11, only 1 bidder only submitted for the high school, not the elementary schools. The one that was second on the high school one protested, said he had to submit it for all of them, and that wasn't the case. So we're rejecting all the bids, but it was a good turnout. We're hoping the same for tomorrow.
Any questions? No? Okay.
No, it was committee report.
Committee reports, budget committee.
Just a very quick report from negotiations. We're behind schedule due to weather. Other than that, everything is going well. Our next meeting will be on the 21st at 6 p.m. And then we have another one coming up about 10 days after that. At this point, all things are going well.
Regarding budget, April 29th, 7 o'clock. We're going to vote to adopt the budget. Okay. Curriculum.
We'll be having a meeting this Thursday.
Okay.
So I'll have something to report hopefully at that time.
Okay.
Wednesday?
Wednesday?
Yeah.
Wednesday, yes. 5 o'clock.
Wednesday.
Yes.
Fine.
Sorry.
Policy.
Policy, we are scheduled to meet on April 22nd.
And that's also at 5, correct?
Correct.
Any questions?
Yeah, actually, I have 4:30.
Okay.
Under Buildings and Grounds Cafeteria. We're in our 5th year of the food service company, Pontonian. I'm required to go out to seek proposals. The state changed the process a little bit, so we will be advertising in the newspaper to seek proposals, and there'll be dates, to submit the proposal back. The Buildings and Grounds Cafeteria Committee will set up meetings to interview the companies that do submit a proposal. We'll review that and plan on making a recommendation probably at our June meeting. I don't think we'll make the May meeting, but probably by June, and I'll give time if there is a change to make the changes over the summer for September.
Old business.
I have no goals update this month. It's, we've given, every month we give a pretty extensive report on each of our goals. Next month we'll be giving that final report, so this month there's really no update.
Okay. I'd just like to mention 5K that's going to be on April 18th. I keep mentioning it. Please register. You could go to saddlebrook5k.com. It starts at 9 o'clock. The website's open till Thursday. It's going to close Thursday. After that, you'll have to register at Smith School the day of the event from 7:30 to 8:30. So please consider making it on Saturday to raise money for our students. Thank you.
To the chair, you don't have to be a runner. You can walk it.
It's a run walk. Yes, that is correct. Thank you. May I have a motion to open the meeting to the public?
So moved.
Second.
Residents are requested to state their names, addresses, and subject matter. In the event it appears the public comment portion of the meeting may exceed 45 minutes, the presiding officer may limit each statement made by a participant to 5 minutes duration. Issues raised by members of the public may or may not be responded to by the board. All comments will be considered, and a response will be forthcoming if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Specifically, comments regarding students and employees of the board are discouraged and will not be responded to by the board. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded by the laws of New Jersey. The board bears no responsibility, nor will it be liable for any comments made by members of the public. Members of the public should consider comments in light of the legal rights of those affected or identified in their comments and be aware that they are legally responsible and liable for their comments. Does anyone wish to be heard?
Good evening. Omar Rodriguez, 275 Madison Avenue. Mr. President, I just heard you read the opening, the opening meeting to the public. I think it's very sloppy, language. It's very limited, it's restricted to the precedents. It should be reviewed, and that's the reason, one of the reasons why the legislature is looking into this. And I said before, under the SLAPP bill, SLAPP, because of attorneys like this that try to intimidate the residents with that kind of language. No one is here to tell us what to say, how to say it, when to say it. It's our right to bring any comments, any questions that we feel feasible and beneficial to the school district. Therefore, I will ask you, through your chair, to revise, because I will send this to the state as a proof. When it's in the Senate, it just passed the Assembly, but it will go into the Senate as a very restricted language. Saddlebrook do not need this type of language. This is not Clifton. With that being said, since I've seen lately the attorney in this meeting, the caucus meeting, and also the regular meeting, the charge is $687.50 per meeting. And then she was going to be on call, she or he was going to be on call, I don't know, depends who comes, at a rate of $140 an hour. Since more than ever I've seen her often right here at the board, I'm just wondering if we are still paying per hour when she comes to the regular meeting at a rate of $140 an hour, or we are just going to pay $687.50 per meeting, due to the fact that if we're going to pay $687.50 twice in a month, then that retainer is very expensive. Then when the negotiation contract will come, we will have to look into that, because to pay an attorney for retainer, that amount of money just to be sitting there is too much money. Because then for any other type of job, the attorney get paid by the hour on a case-by-case basis. And I believe, and my recommendation is to look into that once the new negotiations come for the new school year. Following with that, I have some all items to discuss. I would like to start with the cell phones. As the new school year will start, I believe that whomever thinks that he's using a cell phone for the school business, I don't think that it should be no reason why an employee or a public official will want to hide their phone records in detail, assuming that they're acting in good faith and conducting the school district business. Therefore, and I know up to today, they are just showing the bill for that number. But if they want to keep their cell phones being paid by the school district, I believe that they should sign a contract that those detailed reports will be available to the public. And let's see who is going to take a cell phone. If they're really conducting business, a school district business, it should be no reason why those things are not being made public. and especially when some of those employees are making an excess of $130,000. I believe that to pay $100 for school district out of taxpayers' pocket, I don't think that the town should be paying unless it's for school business. So if you can just revisit that, coming the new school year, starting September, whoever wants to take it, make a disclosure that those records will be made available or will be available to the public. And if any reason somebody's going to argue, oh, I don't want to see who I'm calling. Hey, hold on. The school district business should not be a mystery or a secret. When someone or parent got a problem, they don't call on the cell phone, they come to the school. Or they call the office right here. Cell phone usually is to communicate among employees. So it should be no problem. Also, I was just listening about the toilets. And all bids have been rejected. At the last month meeting, I made a comment, and I think that it was taken out of context. It was in regards to the windows. It was just one bidder. And I believe that is wrong. It is wrong. We cannot just go with one bidder. That way we are advertised. At the last month meeting, I was talking about the vinyl, the aluminum, but if that is what we need, the aluminum, then, and if we know in the area there's not too many factories that produce those type of windows, why not to advertise a statewide? With technology, we can reach out as far as we can. If we got employees that live almost close to Pennsylvania, why not to also get factories to almost close to Pennsylvania to go up or to come and bid on these windows? Why to just make it local? One bidder is never good. Trying to get more companies, and I believe that a lot of them will be eager to come and do business inside. That's what I meant last month when I was talking about the windows, to open it and to make it more of a statewide or a regional instead of local. Also, I discussed, and I haven't heard yet, if there's any progress on sharing services with the town. I believe that it has come to a time in which taxpayers are looking into stream services, not just to give up or give out jobs that basically some of them are not needed. Are not needed. And I prove it. Month after month after month, I prove it. There are jobs that are there, that are getting paid, and they are not needed. Case in point, I'm going to still bring it up, the $52,000 job for a custodian. Was supposed to start work in October. They didn't start until January. Why didn't we re-advertise if we need that job so bad? Why do we have to wait? And if we didn't need it all those 3 months, why to give still that job to the same person? Get rid of the vacancy. Now, talking about that, I came last month right here. To begin with, I don't know if you as members, and I said it before, you as board of ed members, you were elected for the people, by the people, and you do not, with capital letters, depend on employees. The employees depend on you for your direction. You are the bosses. You are the one that's going to have to respond to the taxpayers and the residents. The employees. The employees can stay here and let go. Some of them are incompetent. It's on your watch to do what you're supposed to do. Don't let them tell you what you have to do. And I was here last month, and I said, and I don't know, as you as a board of members, as the bosses of the school district, you should be getting digital the documents that I'm making Oprah's. There should be no reason for you not to have it. Not to have it. You should have it. So we should be speaking the same language. And you know why, and I'm just guessing now, some of these timesheets being made by the same employees or a job of a third grader, if not fourth, no more than that. So sloppy, and this is the way we pay money in Saddlebrook. This is the way that we take care of the house. Last month, I said that I was missing one timesheet. To my surprise, now it comes to $52,000 salary. To my surprise, I was in the area. I stopped by the office of the business administrator to request what happened with the timesheet that I missed. Of course, I didn't have a chance to speak to him. So I came and specified the reason why I'm here at the Board of Education office. Great was my surprise. And I want you to know how the school is being run. They saying that the supervisor of building and grounds do not have a timesheet. It's a big picture. That picture is broken. It's wrong. You know why? Because if no one is taking care of someone punching in and out, what will it happen if this person have an accident? How will you know if that employee was in a school business or in a personal business? Who's taking care of the store? I was told that because it's a salary employee, don't have to sign in. Is this the right practice? How do you know when that person is on vacation, or on a personal day, or on a sick day, or if he's at work? Oh, because it's on call 24/7. What a joke. Ladies and gentlemen, something needs to be changed. That is not the proper way of doing business. This should be monitored, and I don't care who it is, whether it's the superintendent, whether it's the gatekeeper, everybody should punch in and punch out, have their timesheets. That's the only way to do payroll, sir. Otherwise, I don't want to hear that someone died on the road or got an accident and they were in the school business. How do we know? To my dismay, I want to make a comment to the business administrator that day. Because I couldn't believe what I was listening, because a couple meetings ago, I was told again, specifically for that person, that he was coming to work on time when I questioned about the $20,000 stipend that has been created for someone else as his assistant. And I questioned back then if the reason why that position of that stipend of $20,000 was open was because this person cannot come on time. And I was told absolutely not. That person comes on time every day to work. How the business administrator knows that? It is not a time sheet. In closing, on that case, I don't know if it's something against my person. I might not be likable, but I say how it is, and it's straight shooter. I wanted to just talk to him and ask him specifically one more question, and I was just told any questions, any comments, gotta be in writing. Okay, Mr. Employee, Mr. Business Administrator. This is salary. That's not the time or the way of doing business. Your salary comes out of taxpayers' pocket. People, parents, residents that are concerned have the right to come to any meeting. And if they have a question, you should answer that question. You should be a little more professional, have an open door policy. Because just to be told through a secretary that any comments gotta be in writing, shame on you. Shame on you. I'm just gonna leave it up there, I'm gonna leave it up to the board, and I hope some responses and action. And again, the $52,000 that was advertised in the month of August for a custodian or janitor. Now comes my question. He says salary of $52,000. Does he mean that that person don't get overtime? Does that mean, by the way, that person have a time sheet and not overtime? But the way it was advertised, the job, it says salary of. None of the employees that are being hired are coming hourly. They're coming at a salary. By what I was told, if your salary, you don't have to have a time sheet. That's something that you guys will have to consider revisiting and institute a new policy. Employees should not be making their own time sheet. It should be a supervisor or someone in charge. Someone has to take care of the store. Because not everybody will be honest. And I can tell you, for a fact, when they just punch it in that they're working 8 hours, there's not a single one that is saying that they are 10 minutes late or 20 minutes late or half hour late. And that happens because some people got to take care of business. And none of those time sheets got any lateness. It's a coincidence. And that 8, I know it's not 8 o'clock. It's just 8 hours. When I meant last month, it's 8 hours that they are punching every day, plus overtime that is needed. So it should be a different system. Actually, you can buy or purchase a device. They can fingerprint. They can punch in, time clock, something. That's the minimum you can do. But nowadays with technology, you can do everything in a computer, and laptop, or even on a tablet. Moving forward, I'm going to leave that. I also asked, I'm just going to leave this for another time. The billing. Why not to show the billing? All the billing online. You guys got tablets, you have to approve the bills. You have to approve the checks. If you are able to check those bills online on your tablet, why not the public got the right to check those bills online? Is there anything hiding? Why the public cannot have access to see who's getting paid? Unless it's someone being secret. I don't think that it should be kept just for yourselves. At the end of the day, the money is not coming out of your pocket. It's coming out of the taxpayers. So with that, I will close it today. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. Thank you. Does anyone else wish to be heard? We have a motion to close the meeting to the public.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to move into closed session. Have a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
We're going to go into closed session to recess to close executive session to discuss personnel contract negotiations and matter covered by the attorney-client privileges per NJSA 10:4-6. It's an Open Public Meetings Act. The subject matter disclosed may be disclosed to the public if and when the need for confidentiality no longer exists. Action may be taken when the board reconvenes in open session.